back.
Because these niggas not a challenge.
I mean,
like, you gotta understand. You know who the happiest nigga?
If you want to say Michael Jordan's the GOAT of being one of the greatest competitors to play this game, I can give you that.
Michael
He's
Jordan's
a killer
greatest
competitor.
basketball ever of all time.
How?
It's the greatest basketball player ever of all time.
He ain't number one in no offensive category. He ain't number one in no defensive category. How? And then if you want to be like, oh, because he won championships.
Rasheed Wallace just detonated a bomb no one saw coming. In a recent interview, the NBA icon broke character and took a direct shot at LeBron James, a move that instantly sent shockwaves through the basketball world. "You can't earn respect like MJ," Wallace said, and with that single line, the most divisive debate in sports was set on fire all over again. Insiders are now asking what pushed Chi to finally say it out loud. And as the internet melts down, LeBron's silence is only making things louder. This isn't another recycled hot take. This one cuts deep and it's personal.
AKA Michael Jordan, depending on who you ask,
LeBron James
was someone who I believe to be seen universally as one of the greatest defenders of all time. Well, former NBA champion Rasheed Wallace has a very different take on this. Let's roll the clip.
Mike wasn't all that good of a defender.
10 all defensive teams, that Michael Jordan.
All that's NBA shit. Yeah, we like Mike, we gonna put him out there. I'm talking about being out there. I seen this motherfucker get his ass bust where he couldn't.
Let's be honest for a moment. When Rasheed Wallace speaks, the basketball world pays attention. This isn't some hot take artist-chasing engagement. This is a four-time All-Star and NBA champion, a player who went head-to-head with legends and never flinched. She'd built his entire career on brutal honesty, even when it cost him. He was ejected more than almost anyone in league history because he refused to sugarcoat anything or hold his tongue. So when Rasheed Wallace talks about greatness, it hits different. And in early 2025, LeBron James sits atop the game by every measurable standard. The NBA's all-time leading scorer for championships, for MVPs, and over 20 years of sustained dominance. Statistically, his resume is bulletproof. To his fans, the GOAT conversation is over. To his critics, the doubts never fully disappeared. But no one saw this coming. In a recent conversation that hasn't fully reached the mainstream yet, Wallace didn't just question LeBron's legacy. He took it apart piece by piece. His words weren't emotional or impulsive. They were deliberate, precise, and unapologetic. This wasn't a moment of frustration. This was intentional. Wallace looked straight into the camera and said something that LeBron's camp would rather never see daylight. And now the question everyone's asking is simple. What finally pushed Chi to say out loud what so many former players have whispered for years?
We got the first annual Guild Arena Shootout presented by Underdog Fantasy coming soon. You need to pull up.
I was about to say, can I do it?
$100,000 goes to the winner. Winner take all.
What's the entry fee?
$0. Just got to pull up.
Just pull up. I got to get in the gym.
So you can sign up, all you fans out there on the Guilds Arena Discord page for a chance to enter. We also have our open tryout Saturday, December 16th, 9 a.m. at the District Court in Chatsworth. Top 16.
Here's where things really heat up. Wallace sat down for what was supposed to be a relaxed conversation. Stories from his playing days, memories from the league, how the game has changed over time. Standard stuff. But somewhere along the way, the conversation drifted into modern greatness, legacy, and eventually LeBron James. That's when Rasheed Wallace's tone shifted completely. "You can't earn respect like MJ," Wallace said, leaning forward, his voice dropping into that familiar edge, the same tone that usually came right before a technical foul. "You just can't. I don't care how many points you score. I don't care how many teams you jump to. Respect in this league isn't about what you build around yourself. It's about what you prove when everything's against you." Let that sit for a second. Wallace never said LeBron wasn't great. He said LeBron didn't earn respect the same way. And that's a far deeper shot. That's not about stats or rings, that's questioning the foundation of LeBron's entire career narrative. And Wallace wasn't done. Michael Jordan walked into Chicago and said, "I'm going to make this work," Wallace continued. He didn't call his boys and say, "Let's team up in South Beach." He didn't bounce around looking for the perfect situation. He made the situation perfect. That's the difference. The room went silent. You could feel the tension through the screen. This wasn't casual trash talk. Wallace was saying out loud what many fans, especially LeBron supporters, have spent years pushing aside. The decision. The super team era. The idea that LeBron constructed championships instead of enduring the grind to earn them the hard way. Within hours, the clips were everywhere. Social media exploded. LeBron fans fired back, calling Wallace a hater, a bitter old head trapped in the past. But older fans, the ones who actually watched Jordan dominate, reacted differently. They nodded. Finally they said, "Someone said it, and here's what makes it hit harder. Wallace played in both eras. He battled Jordan in his prime. He competed with and against LeBron in the mid-2000s. He's one of the very few people alive who can compare the two from first-hand experience. So when Rasheed Wallace says LeBron can't earn respect like MJ, it isn't nostalgia talking, it's lived history."
But hey, let's take a look at the clip first, and then let's dive deep into it.
In my opinion, you know, Mike wasn't all that good of a defender.
Mike who?
Jordan,
Defensive Player of the Year.
all that was
10 times. I think it was 10 all defensive teams. That Michael
Man,
Jordan.
all that's, you know what all that is, though.
What is it?
You know what all that is. Now all that's NBA shit. Yeah, we like Mike. We gonna put him up there. Da 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 da. I'm talking about being out there.
So what does Rasheed Wallace actually mean by earning respect the MJ way versus the LeBron way? He broke it down in a way that made a lot of people shift uncomfortably in their seats. According to Wallace, when Michael Jordan lost, he didn't look for an escape route. He didn't point fingers. He didn't say the roster wasn't good enough. He looked in the mirror and said, "I'm not there yet." And then he came back angrier, sharper, and more obsessed than before. Wallace reminded everyone that Jordan got bullied by the Pistons for years. They beat him down physically and mentally. And instead of leaving, Jordan stayed. He got stronger. He adapted. And eventually he broke them. Then he went through Barkley, through Malone, through anyone who stood in his way. Every championship Jordan won, he took by force. Nothing was gifted. Nothing was assembled for him. He earned every ring the hard way. Now Wallace says compare that to LeBron's path. After falling short in his first finals run in Cleveland, LeBron didn't double down. He didn't say, "I'll fix this." He left. He went on national television and announced he was taking his talents to South Beach to join 2 other superstars. And yes, the championships came. But Wallace's point is that those titles feel different. They feel designed, manufactured. As if LeBron looked at the league and decided the solution wasn't beating his rivals, it was outnumbering them. "That's not how legends are made," Wallace said, shaking his head. "Legends are made when your back's against the wall and there's no way out, and you still find a way. When the whole world doubts you and you prove them wrong anyway." And in Wallace's view, LeBron has never truly had that moment. Because every time the pressure got heavy, there was always an exit plan. That's the part hitting hardest right now. Even LeBron's most loyal supporters struggle to deny the pattern. Things stalled in Cleveland the first time. He left for Miami. The Miami situation got complicated. He went back to Cleveland with a new super team. Once things got messy again, he headed to Los Angeles. At every turning point, when adversity showed up, LeBron found a better situation instead of conquering the one he was in. And Rasheed Wallace isn't the only former player who sees it this way. He's just the one bold enough to say it out loud. Wallace went on to say this wasn't just his opinion. He mentioned conversations he's had with other players from his era, guys who survived the wars of the 90s and early 2000s, and according to him, they all see it the same way. "We know it," Wallace said. "We just don't all say it out loud because people are scared of the backlash." I'm not. The truth is the truth. And in Wallace's version of the truth, LeBron's greatness isn't up for debate, but his legacy will always come with an asterisk. Not because he lacked talent, but because when it was time to truly earn his place, he chose the easier road. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Normally, when someone comes at LeBron this hard, the response is immediate. The PR machine spins up. Media allies jump in. Subtle messages start appearing. But this time, nothing. Complete radio silence. LeBron hasn't addressed Wallace's comments publicly. No subtweets. No cryptic Instagram story with a vague motivational quote clearly aimed at the criticism. Just quiet. And if you know LeBron, you know that's not normal. People close to his camp say he's genuinely hurt by what Wallace said, and that tracks. This isn't Skip Bayless or some talking head chasing clicks. This is a respected NBA champion. A guy LeBron likely admired at some point. Someone tearing apart the very narrative LeBron has spent 2 decades building. And then social media noticed something else. Around the same time Wallace's comments went viral, LeBron quietly unfollowed several accounts sharing the clips. Not a direct response, but definitely a tell. It got to him, and the longer LeBron stays silent, the louder the questions get. Is he staying quiet because he knows Wallace touched a nerve? Because responding would only validate the criticism? Or is he planning something bigger? A statement, a moment, a response meant to shut this down once and for all? One thing is certain right now, the pressure is building. Fans are now flooding LeBron's social media, begging him to respond. Sports talk shows are dedicating entire segments to the fallout. Even longtime LeBron defenders are starting to sound unsure. Why hasn't he said anything? They ask. What do you even say to that? Because this time, the criticism isn't about numbers. You can't counter it with points per game, MVPs, or All-NBA selections. Wallace's argument lives in a place stats can't reach. It's about something deeper, the intangible line between being great and being legendary. It's about how you win, not just what you win. And deep down, LeBron probably knows Wallace poked the one part of his legacy no record or ring can ever fully erase. So let's zoom out, because this controversy isn't really about LeBron versus Jordan anymore. It's about two completely different philosophies of greatness, and they're colliding head-on. The old-school mindset, the one Wallace represents, says greatness is about endurance, about taking what you're given and forcing it to work through sheer will. It's about loyalty, about facing your doubts, your failures, your demons, and conquering them instead of escaping them. Jordan embodied that. Kobe embodied it. Even someone like Dirk Nowitzki embodied it. The modern philosophy sees greatness differently. It's about optimization, about recognizing bad situations and making smart, strategic moves, about controlling your destiny, building super teams, and refusing to waste your prime years carrying broken organizations. LeBron didn't just embrace this approach, he pioneered it. And today, it's the standard across the league. Neither philosophy is inherently wrong. But Wallace's argument is that they are not equal when it comes to respect. Respect isn't given, he said in follow-up comments. It's earned. You fight for it. You bleed for it. You don't assemble it in a boardroom. And now, other former players are starting to speak up. Some are backing Wallace, saying someone finally had the courage to say what everyone's been thinking. Others are defending LeBron, insisting player empowerment change the game for the better. This isn't just a debate anymore. It's a reckoning. This has turned into a full-blown generational war. And right at the center of it stands LeBron James, the man who changed the NBA forever, yet may never fully escape the shadow of the man who came before him. So where does that leave us as we move deeper into 2025? Where does it leave LeBron's legacy? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Rasheed Wallace didn't invent this criticism, he gave it a voice. It's not that LeBron isn't great, it's that his greatness feels different, calculated, strategic, engineered. And for some fans, that alone disqualifies him from being the undisputed GOAT. Michael Jordan's legacy is simple. He won, and he won by being undeniably better than everyone else. No super teams, no shortcuts, no escape plans, just pure dominance. LeBron's legacy is far more complex. He won by being smart, by maximizing opportunities, by empowering himself and reshaping how players control their careers. But in doing that, he sacrificed the narrative Wallace's generation values most, the lone warrior conquering impossible odds. Can LeBron and Rasheed Wallace ever reconcile? Probably not. This isn't something you fix with a phone call or a post-game quote. This is a fundamental disagreement about what greatness actually means. And in basketball, those arguments never die. Just look at the Jordan versus LeBron debate, over a decade old and still raging. The real question now is whether LeBron responds at all. Does he address this head-on? Or does he let his play speak for him? And even if he does respond, what could he possibly say that would change Wallace's mind, or the minds of millions who agree with him? Maybe the harshest part of all is this: Wallace never questioned LeBron's talent. He never denied his accomplishments. He said something worse. He said that no matter how many records LeBron breaks, no matter how many championships he wins, he'll never earn respect the way Jordan did. And that's a wound no ring can heal. Now I want to hear from you. Did Rasheed Wallace cross the line? Or did he finally say what needed to be said? Is LeBron's version of greatness just different? Or does it remove him from the GOAT conversation entirely? Drop your honest take in the comments. Don't hold back. And if you think this was controversial, wait until you hear what other NBA legends are saying behind closed doors. We're breaking that down next, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. We're bringing you the conversations mainstream media won't touch. See you in the next one.